this chapter, for the most part, when I read it, all I could think about was like how is Oda gonna save himself here? Because I don't think
Yeah.
he's written himself into a corner per se.
No, of course he hasn't. He never does.
Right. But with Luffy and Katakuri, the gap here,
Yeah. I see. It's big.
it's a significant gap. A significant gap. You know, people talk about but another point. I saw the rants on Twitter about the hair color, which was
Right.
you know, come on, like come on. Regardless of what the hair color is, Katakuri is gonna be a boss. But with Katakuri and Luffy and the separation that Oda has shown, yeah, he's setting up for Luffy to have a major comeback, but what major comeback can Luffy have here, like, to make sense in a way? You know what I mean? It just seems like no matter what Luffy does here, we're gonna look at it sideways, like, how? And then pulling off the cake thing. Okay, let's double back to the cake thing. What did you think about that? Okay, let me ask you this first. What did you absolutely love about the chapter, and something you absolutely hated about the chapter?
Well, I've always had the same. I've always had the same opinion. This arc had the potential to be a 10 early on.
Yeah.
And some of the awful things that are in this arc have dragged it down to like an 8 for me.
Agreed.
But nothing ever since when when the tower fell over and there was, you guys don't see it, but like there was one. It's like Oda's worst ever chapter ever, right? Ever since then, when we've been running away, blah blah blah, and we got on the ship and we're going to the everything since then has been okay to good. They've all been good chapters.
Right.
So no, there's nothing I hate. But there's nothing I love. Like Big Mom doing the tidal wave is super predictable to me, so I don't love it. It's just good.
Oh, you felt like that would? You felt like that was something that you saw coming?
Oh yeah, me and Pharaoh have been talking about it for like months.
Yeah, I saw Pharaoh in the stream the other day. He said that me and Theory we were literally just talking about this as far as Big Mom putting her power into the water.
Oh yeah, man. We would talk about it for a long time. Yeah.
What do you think about this theory? Someone had said that. What do you think about it being? It's not literal seawater.
Oh yeah, I said that. It's because we know it's syrup.
It's
right. It freezes at night.
Exactly. So is that the reason why she can do it, or do you actually think she can do that to seawater as well?
If if that's the reason, then so be it. Makes sense, doesn't it? But if it's ocean water, then there's nothing in the series that says she can't. Because Perispero's got a candy slug in the water made of his devil fruit. Kizaru can shoot lasers into water. Luffy can stretch in the water. Robin can create hands in the water.
Right.
Yeah, so why can't she turn her home? Water into a homie?
I don't know if you remember this. One time in the stream, we were talking about Big Mom versus Akainu. Akainu would be Big Mom. And before this arc, we said Akainu would be Big Mom. Big Mom was. I remember we did the top 30. I don't remember where you rated Big Mom.
Oh, I always have had her high, man.
Yeah, but I think in my top 30, I had Akainu over Big Mom.
I know you did. Everyone did.
Yeah, so after this arc, or in the midst of this arc, after seeing what Big Mom can do, I'm like, there's no way. And the reason because it's Big Mom could literally turn his lava to a homie. Like, what's stopping her from doing that and controlling the lava and using it against him? Then it's just like lava versus lava, and Big Mom has more
stuff.
She has more stuff she can do. So at this point, I'm like, I have, Big Mom.
And you can't have her unless you have another caramel picture from what we've seen.
Right. Right. Let me see. I'm looking at my list now. Yeah, I had Big Mom at 8. I had Big Mom at 8, Mihawk at 7, Aokiji at 3, and Akainu at 5. So that was my list back then. I think that's drastically changed now. I can't wait till we actually do that again. To be honest, because
I feel like because of the way the story is probably going to go, Kainu probably can defeat her. Probably just because he's a Kainu, right? But from what we've seen, she's more than even I expected.
Yeah, I mean, and if this thing about her draining Luffy, that's a theory out there. If that's a thing,
if that's a thing, then I think it's over.
I mean, come on. I think she's. What kind of pains me sometimes is those people that they still find a way to kind of downplay Big Mom. Where even after seeing what they see, they're still like, well, she's still fat, she's still slow, she still can hit any of the Straw Hats. I'm like, do you guys realize if she had hit any of the Straw Hats, with any of those attacks, Like one of them are dying. Like they're not living through that. You saw the impact and the damage that caused. So you wanted the story to end. So me personally, drastically slept on Big Mom. I know Ty had always had Big Mom as the strongest character in One Piece. Baseless or not, it's trending toward that way.
Oh yeah, when I went from just she's just a Yonko, so she has to be. I always had the Yonko above admirals, so I always had her in the top 4.
Right.
Yeah. Other than Dragon, so she could have been number 5, right?
Yeah.
But when I started to switch sides and I started saying, when I started agreeing with her that she's the strongest, is when they explained her fruit. As soon as they explained her fruit, that was it. It was easily understood that she's the best.
That's so because fruit, yeah, because I don't know if you heard my theory about that.
Not only does it, go on.
No, as far as like Big Mom, her fruit is one of the origin devil fruits, whereas like
what does that mean?
Where it's like they have devil fruits were like they were essentially the origin of life. We had certain devil fruits that had to come together to actually create life, and where Big Mom, that was one of the essential fruits to actually create life. So
that's a theory.
Yeah, I have something like elaborate around it, but I feel like, I mean, as far as what we know about devil fruits, and as far as lineage factors, as far as like Vegapunk and what he's doing, I feel like the beginning of everything like started with a devil fruit. I would think, so
maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I never thought of an origin story really. One Piece.
Yeah, that was like my whole origin thing. Where it's like there's certain fruits that they're gonna have eventually classes of fruits. I don't know if Law is fruit because Law and the things he can affect, it goes down to the actual cells. As far as like what Law, so it's like you have fruits that can do that. Like why, like using multiple fruits, why can't you actually create something?
Yeah.
So that was a whole thing around that. We have darkness, we have light. It's a whole elaborate thing, but
okay. So I didn't think she was the strongest when Pound explained how the souls work, but I started to look into the scale. I was like, okay, so I started to find out she has infinite range. The homies can go as far away from her as they want. They can do what they want, right?
Correct.
And then we discovered when Brooke fought her that she has 3 special homies: Napoleon, Prometheus, and Zeus.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so now she's even stronger. And then we discovered after that they've never been hurt before, so that was another that put her up at number 2 or 3 for me. Correct. So they've never been hurt. That means she's crazy. That means she's crazy strong, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, I figured out that you can't use Haki to hurt them, otherwise they would have been hurt before. Another thing as well is then the last bit was when Capone said before the tea party, she has some crazy iron body and you can't hurt her.
Yes.
She's the strongest.
Oda had to figure out a way to make it so that they actually seemed like they had a chance to make this interesting. Right, with the Mother Caramel thing.
They stood no chance at all.
And even after that, I think it was painfully obvious. Like, as far as like, come on, we knew that they really had no chance there. But Oda was setting it up. We have the homies, we have, all these people that can, I guess counter her with Luffy. We have Sanji,
But even then, you can't hurt her.
Yeah. Yeah, but they made it set up where it's like Capone using these things, she's going to be in the most weakened state ever. And then destroying the cake, and then they kind of hinted that this was the worst they've ever seen her, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work, and everything blows up, and then and then the thing is her family as well they've been like they're kind of overpowered.
Do you remember when like before the tea party, people were like, oh well, the rest of the crew are trash other than Katakuri, man. Like, come on, Jesus Christ.
I never understood that, where we can just like paint a broad brush over something we haven't even seen the full arc of, right? Like Smoothie right now, people are considering, like, they're calling her trash, right?
Yeah. No, she's probably crazy.
We know better. That's the thing sometimes, where it's like we know better, yet and still we say these things to incite like reaction. Like there's no, like Smoothie, like we don't know what Smoothie can do, right? But you have to show her the respect that she's a commander of Big Mom. And from what we've seen from the commanders, they've, like, Cracker and Katakuri, they're pretty damn powerful. So why wouldn't Smoothie be that strong? I mean, this goes back to the Ace argument, as far as Ace having Haki. Where it's like, more than likely he would have it. You know,
Uh-huh.
so it's
Yeah.
like I feel like with some things, some people, this was in the Discord as well. They say, oh, this person has no quote unquote feats, right?
Right. It's
And
about stats.
it's, yeah, stats, and I'm like, we can't just base everything off of stats. If we do that, why do you have Shanks so high?
Uh-huh.
You know, like, why do you have some of your characters so high when you haven't seen anything?
That's
So-
why I tried to preach with the whole Mihawk thing. Is why do people put him so crazy high when a Marineford he didn't showcase that he's crazy high? You know.
I think people use titles when it's beneficial. You know, so the Yonko title, it's discussed that the Yonko title, that's not something that's achieved on your own. You have to have a strong
But Big
crew
Mom
around
did
you.
achieve it on her own.
Technically, Big Mom did, because all of these are her children.
Yep.
Right.
It was just her and Strusen.
Exactly, her and Strusen, to grow an army that and become a Yonko literally from everything within your body. Like, that's crazy. Like, literally, Big Mom's crew is her family. And people downplay that. I don't get it. I don't get it at this point. But I think it's preposterous at this point, bro. I think it's gotten to a point where it's just like, I don't
What's
understand.
scary as well is what's scary as well is for me that the Kaido, to me, obviously, because obviously this is how stories always go. Big Mom's going to be shown to be respectable. Then Kaido's going to make her look slightly worse because he's the strongest.
Yeah.
Then Shanks after him is going to show that he's the strongest. And then Blackbeard after him is going to show that he's the strongest. That's just story, right? But to me, I don't think Oda's going to go with that cliche. I think he's going to make them look relatively equal, which is why Kaido has lost before. It's why Shanks can stop him, you know, stuff like that.
No, I agree. Where it's like they're going to be relatively close. Where we're going to say, okay, this person has this, but they don't have this, so they're comparable. I mean, that's why they're all Yonko. That's why none of them have ever been overrun by the other. You know, people go back to the Shanks stopping Kaido, but we have a simple solution there where Shanks is with his whole crew. We've seen Kaido pretty much travels alone. So
Yeah.
it's just like we have things there, but we use things that are convenient. But that goes back to like some of the admirals, and I do feel like a lot of people love the admirals, but it is also some hate due to how much people love the admirals. The admirals are powerful, and I feel like sometimes we look at One Piece and we kind of scale it to the real world, and then we kind of say, well, based on this person should not be touched. You know,
Right?
Like he's
Yeah, that I don't understand why people do that. There's like like you said, because he's light speed. No, in One Piece, not. Aokiji can make things freeze, and he can put. I remember Haki in the this guy called Hidden Haki in the Discord was saying he could go, I don't know if he was trolling or not, but he could go to absolute zero. It's like, well, where was that shown?
Well, it's always relativity. Luffy, at what speed does Luffy move?
Yeah.
In comparison to the speed of light. That hasn't really been explained, but we can kind of assume that Luffy and observation Haki balances it out. We're moving at the speed of light in One Piece. In the real world, yes, the speed of light is impressive. In the world of One Piece, it can be countered. Like, we saw that it was countered. But still, we still look at Kizaru like, oh, he's a god, he shouldn't be touched. But the powers in One Piece have been shown that there are ways to counter this. We saw Rayleigh got the edge on Kizaru, a rusty Rayleigh. The speed of light, he got the edge on him. So even with that, we still say that there's no one that can beat Kizaru. You know, and then
I don't know if no one. There's loads of people.
Yeah, you know, and then it goes back to Fujitora and his gravity thing, where I get it, it's gravity, but like goes back to relativity. How does Fujitora's gravity force equate to the strength of someone in One Piece? Like, Fujitora is not just going to go around one-shotting everyone. Like, it's not going to work that way. You know, there's still...
Oh, he's going to send you to space.
He's just going to send everyone to space. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It's like, I think Drit said this. Drit's a Joy Boy. It's like the typical shonen story where even if Luffy fought Sanji, he's not going to one-shot Sanji. You know, it's going to be a way for Sanji to counter Luffy, to balance it out, to kind of, it's like, that's just how shonens work. And so it's like, if to the top tiers fight, even if this person has a superior devil fruit, it does not guarantee a win. We saw the Akainu and Aokiji thing, where for the most part Akainu seemed to have the advantage there, but it still went 10 days. You know, so I really don't know why people choose to scale like that and just dismiss the other side.
Because there's fanboys, man.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, I fanboy over Doflamingo, but you know, I have to understand like these guys out here, they're stronger than Dofi. You know, it's like they're stronger than Doflamingo. Like, there's no way. I mean, I really thought that Doflamingo would. I feel like he had everything to be one of the final, like, Shichibukai, based on like he actually had, he had a goal, he had character, he had charisma, he had a crew around him that they were pretty likable, you know. Like, thinking about Doflamingo in an alternate universe as like the main character, his crew is pretty likable. A lot of people love Virgo. A lot of people like Senior Pink, you know. So, but it's like when you scale it to someone like we have the Cracker versus Doflamingo debate, and I play devil's advocate all the time. But Cracker's stronger than Doflamingo. Cracker's stronger than Doflamingo. Like the commanders are stronger than Doflamingo. If Luffy beats Katakuri here, I feel like it does go back to matchups. I feel like that's what Oda is gonna be painting, because there's no way Luffy should be able to beat Katakuri. No,
I don't think it remains a 1v1, if I'm honest. Because if all the mirrors break like Luffy's trying to do, then okay, fine.
I don't think it's going to happen. It's 20 mirrors.
I think Jinbei most likely is going to step in or something, because remember, like, Katakuri does have that water nerf.
The water nerf.
And I would be very surprised if he gets defeated without being water nerfed.
You know, I agree with that, and I was saying that the Sun Pirates, this is a time for them to show up, right? And for them to step in and protect their previous captain. You know, with a cliche line, well, you're not our captain anymore. You can't tell us what to do.
Yeah.
You know, so he does that, and then, you know, if Jinbei notices that Luffy is getting owned in the mirror world, why would he not step up? You know, to help Luffy, and that could be even more development as far as Jinbei.
It would cement his place, wouldn't it?
It definitely would, and I feel like every chapter he's becoming more and more. We're feeling it. We're kind of feeling him becoming more and more part of the crew, and I'm worried a bit. You know, a lot of people think it's a done deal that Jimbo gets out of here alive. I'm worried.
Well, I think it's a sealed deal.
I hear you, and I'm leaning towards that. But would you expect it? Absolutely, for Jimbo to die. Absolutely not.
I wouldn't expect two characters to, like, if Pedro hadn't died,
right?
Then I would be like, okay, maybe. But now that someone has already died, I don't think.
I mean, yeah, it would definitely go away from Oda's typical writing formula. But it would be such a shock. I think everyone would be speechless. You know what I mean? Like, if Jimbo goes into the mirror world, you know, kind of nerfs Katakuri. All of a sudden, Katakuri has been using a clone the whole time. Shows up behind Jimbo with his trident and just impales him. You know, it would. The reaction to that would. But the thing is, people wouldn't believe he would be dead, because they're like, "Oh, he tanked in a Kainu magma fist. He should be all right." You know, but
well, he didn't tank it. He was going to die from that.
I mean, yeah, but it's like he didn't die from that, so it's like people are going to use that as far as like backing him up if he was to be stabbed by Katakuri. Like I said, I agree that he should survive here, but it would be like a huge curveball if he still ends up dying with Pedro dying as well.
I feel like the whole quote, it's not a matter of what was it, and it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when, right?
Right.
So I feel like quotes like that are like for the future, not for now.
Not for right now. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I feel like the whole Pedro thing, like him and Peckham's.
Oh, I think I am so let down.
What was that about?
That's another reason why this is an 8. Things like that, those small, like, not the casual fans, they don't care. But for like an avid reader like myself, like small things like that, where Oda's been like, "Oh, look, here's an interesting plot point that we could explore,"
exactly,
and then he's completely shafted it. Like, it's like, oh,
yeah, it's like you went for Peckham's, you said, but then you just you literally came there and you planned to die, and you know, I kind of felt like it was a bunch of hints where I felt like Pedro would change his mind as far as that. But Brooke, he even said, "What kind of fool plans to die?" You know,
I don't think he's dead. There's like the fact that Luffy, for me, is still on whole cake. I know people don't believe me, but I really don't think Brule can just teleport to the other islands with her mirrors. I don't think it's possible, right?
Mhm.
So the fact that, and if that's true, then then Luffy is stuck on whole cake. How does he get off? Back.
Theory, when that happened, and I'm doing my live reaction, I was like, I'm skeptical. Until I see a body, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. There's too many things there where I was like, I felt like Pedro was still necessary. Your goal, your whole reason for going there, you said, was Peckham's. But that's still unresolved. So then why did you even go? Did you go just to die? I understand that Luffy, you recognize Luffy as the, you know, the coming of a dawn. Like, it's that Luffy is the guy. But you would think he'd want to accomplish that, or Oda write it for him to accomplish that before he dies. Granted, everything's been set up for him staying dead. Makes a lot of sense. But I'm skeptical.
If he's dead, then, you know, so be it.
Right, I agree. Yeah. So be it. I mean, it's not a, for me, it's not a huge thing.
It's just like, it's just that, like, for me, it's as, you know, like the handcuffs. It's another one of those situations.
You remember, like, you remember how mad I was at the handcuffs, bro? Like,
I think a lot of people were, because it opened up, like, when they were introduced, it opened up so many ideas. Like, how are they gonna get them off? How are they gonna get the key? How are they gonna, you know?
It's how you're gonna have to serve under her to do something to get, because they said Big Mom has the key, and all of a sudden, oh well. The handcuffs, you know,
they're fake.
Yeah, you know. So I feel like some ways, and you know how Whole Cake played out, it was disappointing. I think back to when, you know, when Reiju got shot. You remember that chapter when it was like, oh, it's Pudding. It was like, wait, you know, Pudding. And then I feel like after that point, I think that was the point where people said, okay, the Vince Smoker really trash. Where Pudding was able to take down Reiju. And then that could go back to Reiju's, you know, she didn't have a will to live there. She didn't have a raid suit either. Right. And, you know, and it's, people go back to that, and I don't know, man. It's so many moments where I just like, but then I don't know if I'm being more skeptical than usual, you know.
I think you've been forced to be that way because, really, I don't know if you've reread the arc yet, but if you reread it, it really does change your perspective. I've tried to tell many people, no one wants to listen.
I reread the Tea Party. I haven't read the whole thing yet. I reread the Tea Party.
I advise you to, you know, I know it's the start of it is boring, but I do advise it. It changes. It's very different.
Right.
Like the pacing of how Oda was, like you see how Oda was kind of thinking. But it just didn't work weekly.
It's tough weekly. It's tough weekly if it's not hype. You know, if you're getting, you know, some setup, and I you know, a lot of people, they're at the point where they're questioning the series due to how long the series has been going. I don't understand that. Yeah,
I don't understand that. You know, the series goes on as long as it needs to go on.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I don't want Oda to be shackled by time here, you know, to feel like, oh, you know, it's been this long.
It did feel like that at one point. I was worried he was rushing.
Right.
I was saying at one point, like, it doesn't feel like he's writing anymore.
You know, and then he came out with a statement saying, hey, I know it's been a long time, but please bear with me. It sounds like he was like, I understand that it's taken a long time. So he's aware that he must pick up the pace, you know, so it kind of felt like he was going towards that, but then it kind of tapered out to the point where like, okay, we're back. We're good now. You know, I honestly think if you're willing to drop
people just seem to think that it goes, we do this arc, then we do Kaido, then we do then something happens to Shanks, and then we do Blackbeard, and you know, then Luffy comes apart. No. You guys are in for the long haul now. You got a long time left. It's gonna be going ages.
It's a bunch. And I feel like it's gonna take. The reason why this is so different from other shonen is that Oda doesn't care much for power levels, right? Like it's like we see like with the fights, where they get skipped, they get off screened, they're short. It's a bit it's a touch here, a touch there. Oda wants to develop his characters.
Right.
And he's going to develop his characters regardless of how much time it takes. You know, for other like shonens where it's like they feel like, okay, once this character is here, I have to keep him here and have him progress. I don't feel like Oda feels like he's in that box where he has to be tied into, okay, this character is this strong, another transformation, then let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And he's not there, you know? And we see it all the time with One Piece where fights are not that prevalent. You know, we get a clash here and there, but that's not Oda's thing. That's not his thing. He said it and he proved it in like the SBS where it's like, hey, you know, a chapter of fight. You know, I want to focus on these characters. So I mean, we have a lot to look forward to as far as information and story being revealed. But I do understand that people like me say I do want some fights. Definitely, like the Luffy versus Katakuri fight. I hope that it at some point.
Some of it already got skipped though, didn't it?
Yes, it definitely got skipped. Because we came back and it was like, we're not sure how much time has actually passed. I feel like that's something Hunter x Hunter does well. It keeps you in the loop, so it doesn't leave much for questioning. You know,
I have a question for you, mate.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on? I know, obviously, then Katakuri isn't going 100%. That's fine. I understand that, right? It's a bit annoying that he's not because he did say he was going to kill him, but whatever. Yeah. That's how plot hacks works, right?
Correct.
But what's your thoughts about Luffy not being pushed to his limits yet? He's still gear second and gear third at the moment, and it's been these two have been confronting each other for quite a while now. You know,
I have theories about that where. As far as Katakuri, his whole character to me is interesting. He seems very stoic and very reserved, but he's a very complex character. Typically, like One Piece characters, as far as like a strong commander, strong person, like we saw Cracker, where he folded, you know, just due to like the stress of the time and everything. One could argue.
Are you sure you're not imposing that though? Like how like some of us thought Big Mom was a genius before she got confirmed to be an idiot?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because the thing, look at Cracker. I feel like Cracker's a typical like, okay, I'm really strong, but I get overwhelmed by the situation and stressed out, and I make a mistake, right? Every step of the way, you can argue Katakuri was under more stress than Cracker was at that time.
I don't agree.
Why you say that?
Because I've explained it to people before. I'd have to like sit down and go through each of the pages and panels with you. The only time, like, because at the tea party, everything was covered by his sisters and brothers. Everything was handled. You know, he told them handle it. They handled it. You know, there was no stress. It was only him focusing on Luffy, and that's all he needed to do. And he failed
with Katakuri, right? With Cracker, I send you out to capture someone, right? You don't capture someone, what's left?
What you mean?
So if Cracker doesn't accomplish his job, right?
Yeah.
Is that the end?
No.
With Katakuri, and as far as protecting Big Mom and keeping things together, if he doesn't do that, I feel like everybody falls apart. With Katakuri, like literally all the Big Mom pirates fell apart. From Mondor, who we saw as like, okay, Mondor is kind of like, he's a leader. He fell apart. Smoothie, she didn't do anything. Everyone kind of succumbed to Big Mom going out of control. Katakuri was literally the only Big Mom pirate that kept it together. Yeah, you said he told them what to do, but still being that essential part and being under that much stress, yes, you can say, well, he had the basically the advantage of seeing the future.
Well, this is my problem. He didn't really tell them what to do at all. That was one of his drawbacks. Is he didn't really have very good teamwork. There's only 2 moments where he talks to the team. One of them is he gives them incorrect information, which isn't his fault. You know, he made a mistake. He didn't spot Brook. That's, you know, oh well, unlucky. You know, right. But the other one is when he commands Perospero to kill the Vinsmokes. But you have to understand, in the context of what Perospero can't see the future, he thinks he's got all the time in the world to kill them, so he's got no rush. You
Yeah,
know?
but the thing is, he told Perospello to kill Vince Smokes. He told Capone to kill Luffy. The thing is, he was trying to like keep these things in hand. I feel like he was at this point.
But he didn't communicate his future correctly. You know, he didn't. Like you know, later on the
Wait,
ship.
how do you communicate that, dude? You know, with him versus with Capone, he said, "Yo, kill Luffy now. Like, kill him now." Like, I don't know how much more urgent you can do that. And then he even said that while walking towards them. You know,
it's other situations though, like when the cake was about to explode, he didn't really give any. He gave good information about the picture break, and that was good.
Right.
But there's other, just the cake exploding didn't give good information about that.
But the thing is, with the cake exploding, what could he really have done there?
Nothing. He said that he couldn't.
Yeah, he couldn't have done anything there. Like the cake was going to explode regardless.
The one with the Perospello, if he knows the picture's about to break again, why doesn't he, instead of saying, "Can you kill them?" and then not give Perospello any context clues, why not say Mother Caramel incident or Big Mum scream or something, and then Perospello would immediately understand. Because they went through that once before. It was just weird, like, because we see later. I'm not saying it's not his fault. It's Oda's fault. But when we see later on the ship, okay, Luffy runs up and he sees the future of Luffy from what we're going to assume uses King's Haki to wipe out the Fodder. Guess what he does? He communicates it effectively. He goes, "Listen up, guys. Go back inside. You ain't ready for that guy." That was great. Well, why can't you be that competent when your whole team was in danger?
But I feel like it was a lot more moving parts, right? Because the Perospello thing, that was separate from like what was going on with like Luffy and them. So it's like, how much time can I spend to one part? Like which one is more like is priority here?
Well, why do you say it like that? What other priorities did he have?
As far as Luffy, and then you're saying like take down the Vinsmoke?
They were already covered by everybody else.
Who?
Daifuku got Sanji. Perospello got all the Vinsmoke stuck at the table, and the rest of his siblings had guns to their head. Capone, who he thought at the time was on his team, had supposedly killed Brook because his head came off and captured Luffy. He even announced it.
Right.
And then Jinbei was fighting his other siblings and said he was overwhelmed. Oven stopped Pedro from coming out of the mirror world. Everyone was covered. There was only Luffy left.
It quote unquote covered, but then it goes back to Katakuri's limits, right? And then it's like how far can he really see? And as far as up to what he can see, it's like he felt like he had everything covered. But we know it's like it's a cooldown at some point, right? Where he
I don't think so.
You feel like he can continuously see?
Well, it's just like observation haki. It's observation haki.
No, but the thing is, it's like we know that haki.
Does Fuji have a cooldown?
Fuji?
Does he have a cooldown?
I would think at some moments Fuji probably can't see anything.
Okay.
I would feel like it's like because with haki, it's been shown that you can run out of haki.
Of course, yeah, it's weird, yeah.
So it's like with Katakuri, I feel like continuously seeing the future. It seems
not all times. I'm just saying, like, if he so chooses, he could do it and then do it again and do it again. I don't think the 3 minutes that the Tea Party took is enough to make him run out of future vision. Otherwise, in a fight, he's useless with it. 3 minutes? That's rubbish.
No, I don't feel like it's running out. But after you use it for 5 seconds, for 1, 2, 3 seconds, you have to wait to use it again.
I don't know where there's any.
No, the thing is the reason why I'm saying that is because of all the flaws in like his vision. You know what I mean? Like it's like if he could continuously see it, right? Even if someone has the ability to change the future, you should be able to see that as well.
Right.
So it's like,
I don't think so.
What do you mean? Because say like the Sanji thing, right?
Capone said it doesn't matter because even I can change it.
Right. So if you're continuously seeing the future, like continuously, where it's like regardless of what Capone does, it's like it's no parallel because you're seeing everything. When Capone saw Katakuri's face, he like, okay, I feel like at that point Capone was going to go away from Katakuri. But after he saw Katakuri's face, he's like, okay, let me do the opposite of what I was going to do.
I don't know if that's. I remember you telling us all that when that chapter came up. But I don't know if that's true or not.
What do you think about that?
Because I feel like what had happened was he had seen the future where Luffy. If you're telling me he sees like a continuous future, he should already know that Capone is the traitor.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like he can't do that. You know what I mean?
But in the was going to do what he was going to do, like you're saying, but then he changed his mind.
No. Oh, no. Capone changed his mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What was Capone going to do?
I feel like Capone was going to run away from Katakuri at that point. It was like, just get away from Katakuri.
Then he should have known he was a traitor.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the cool down thing. It's like at that moment, like that altered everything. Where it's like, okay, so it's like,
oh, I see.
You see what I mean?
See, because there was a clue.
Exactly.
Right.
And then it's like, so he sees the future, and he sees
like Capone saw the cool down.
Right. So Capone was running away. Right. He saw Capone running away. Capone saw that he's running. He saw, and it's like Dustin pointed this out. Like every time Katakuri uses his future vision, is that the shading that Oda draws? You know what I mean? He saw Katakuri coming, and his eyes, it's like his face was pale or something like that. Capone said, "Okay, this is my moment here." So then he altered the future because of that, because all he saw was Capone running away, and then after that, it's like he can't see from there. You know what I mean? That's my theory as far as like how Katakuri's observation works.
It makes sense. You can justify a lot of the ones. The only one I've tried my best to help him out. The only one I can't fix is the picture breaking in the first place. Like when Brooke broke it. That one is unexplainable. There's no excuse. Because like he told everyone, ignore all the animals, so they weren't distracted by the animals, and there's proof because all the children were standing calmly watching Jinbei talk to Big Mom. Every single one of them, Oven, Paris, all of them. Yeah. And they chat for a good few minutes. He withstands the life or treat for a couple of tries.
Yeah.
Loads of time passes, and whilst this is all going on, Brooke is making his way to this picture. Where's Katakuri? We don't see him until an entire chapter later, going, "Oh shit! Like, what was he doing?"
Yeah, I mean, with that whole sequence, it's hard to tell like what the hell he was doing there. And then it goes back to like what's kind of sacrificed for plot and convenience for it to happen, But then do you think Oda's ever going to explain how much he can see? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think he has to. It's like he's done it to all the characters, Marco, Mihawk.
Yeah.
This is what has to happen for us to win.
Right. He leaves it open.
But my thing is, it still happened. We're seeing him generate limbs. We're seeing him create a trident. We're seeing him copy Gear Third. We're seeing him do all sorts in this mirror world.
But
at the tea party.
I have a theory about how Luffy can defeat Katakuri. I don't want to say it on stream because I want to make a video about it or have a discussion around it. But I'll tell you after. But it involves like Luffy, I would say one-upping Katakuri. In something.
In what way? King Saki?
Something like that. But I'll talk to you about it off air. But
okay.
Yeah, we haven't even covered the chapter yet. But okay, so
because
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The cake baking thing.
Yeah, it was good. Way better than everyone expected.
It was funny. Granted,
yeah,
it was after the fact. I feel like it's appropriately placed because of how long it took. They got to the point. They gave us information that they felt like was necessary. Then we got to the fight. While I was reading it, I'm like, I just want to get to the fight. But after the fact, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. They did a good job.
Yeah.
Pudding is more likable now, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Everyone hated Pudding 3 chapters ago. I guess the back and forth kind of killed them, but it's like this has been shown to be Pudding. Why do you hate it now? So Pudding, that didn't bother me. And for Pudding's personality, I don't think she's bipolar. I think it's like a defensive mechanism. What do you think there?
There's loads going on with Pudding. It's massive. People don't really get it.
Yeah.
Like it's been in your face since the start of the arc. There's loads to it. Ever since she spoke about liking Lola, and then we discovered that the rest of the family hate Lola. There's loads to do with. It's massive.
She's fighting.
People don't.
Yeah. So it's fitting that she has a relationship like that with Chiffon. Sanji and the cake baking time. What did you think about that? Was it 3 hours?
2.5 or something like that, wasn't it?
Was it 2:45?
I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Not, it wasn't very long. It's long enough for them to get destroyed, but it's way quicker than. Okay, so remember that? Do you remember that chapter I hated?
Yeah.
Where it was when Pudding said, "I'm going to go get your phone, and we're going to go make a cake."
Yeah, 2 hours and
Go all
40
the way to
minutes.
chocolate. She was like, I've got to go all the way to Chocolate Town.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. Chocolate Town is an entire day away, and then you're gonna cook a cake on top of being an entire day away and bring it back.
Right.
That doesn't make it. And we're supposed to survive for that length of time.
Right.
Makes sense. So the fact that it's only 2 or 3 hours, that's not too bad.
Yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know, initially seeing Luffy versus Katakuri, I'm like, how are they gonna do this? How does Luffy hold off Katakuri for 2 hours and 40 minutes? But then Katakuri,
Jinbei.
Right, Jinbei is there. If Jinbei joins Luffy, then it's definitely plausible. I think what kind of messed with me was the previous chapter where Luffy supposedly broke the mirror, but I wasn't thinking to the point of until after the fact that, yo, that's just one mirror to the ship.
Yeah.
There are multiple mirrors in the mirror world. Other people can come in. You know? So it's like, it doesn't have to be a 1v1. That's what Luffy intended, but it doesn't have to be that way. This arc has been shown, I think in this arc, a lot of the others, if you want to call them that, they've shown like brightly. From Brook to Chopper. Well, Chopper hasn't shown that much. It's been Brook, Nami show. Jinbei has been he's been great in the leadership role. It would be great to see Jinbei and Chopper shine here. You know? It's like if they join Luffy in the fight, it'd be great to see them do that. So I think we may see another tag team. You know, and that would be...
It has to happen. There's no way you beat... From what we now that it is stated that he's the strongest man in the commanders, not woman, but man.
Yeah.
There's no way that if he's stated to be stronger than Cracker, there's no way he 1v1s him. And if he does, it just means, and he does something new, it just means that he was holding back against Cracker, which is like, huh?
Like why? It's like, why would he do it? And then
you're holding back against the Flamingo. You're holding back against the Flamingo. Or people almost died. Law lost an arm.
People died. people died. And I guess that goes back to Luffy saying, "I'm not a hero. I'm gonna take care of things the way I want to." But if Luffy just beats him that way, I feel like it kind of changes things where it kind of makes things too convenient. Where it's like Luffy's gonna have a gear and an alternate form for everything. And that kind of takes away from some of the suspense.
We feared that. Could you remember? This is this mirror world scenario is one of those things where. Do you remember back when we first met Cracker and he revealed his true form?
Yeah.
And then it cut away, and we had like 5 chapters of Vinsmoke flashback, right?
Right.
We were all like, "How is he gonna beat this guy? Like, whoa, Gear 5 incoming, blah."
Right.
But look what happened. Teamwork, and they one-shot him.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what it took, wearing him down with Katakuri. People go back to matchups, there's like Katakuri is probably going to be easier to be hit than Cracker. Luffy's tried a lot of stuff, and he hasn't landed a solid hit, Yeah,
because he's basically doing what, I know he's a Paramecia, but he's basically doing what Akainu and stuff and Aokiji are doing.
Yeah, but the thing is,
they are being an element like that. But what makes it even more crazy is that unlike Akainu and that who are hiding their body, Katakuri is Mochi. He literally is a Mochi man.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a real body. That is him.
Exactly, and that's the scary part. That's the absolute scary part. Where this guy, he's sunning Luffy. He's a Paramecia. He's telling Luffy like, "I'm better than you. All right, listen, I'm just better than you." At this point, you're not ready yet, and that's why I had the whole theory about Katakuri being interested in Luffy, not just because he's a Big Mom part, but for other motives. But I feel like this is just an indirect way of Oda giving Luffy a power up, or giving Luffy ideas. As far as like having this Mochi guy, Luffy can learn from him, his development, without an actual training arc. You know what I mean? So that's what I felt like, that was the whole point of it. But how do you get out of this? By yourself. Like, I don't know how you get out of it by yourself. And
is it possible?
I mean, people hate when I say that.
It's possible. Like, Luffy could pull something out, but it's like, It's just like, is it enough? Like, is it enough to defeat possibly the strong? I don't. There's a chance that Smoothie's stronger. I don't believe so, but there's a chance.
There's a chance that she is stronger. I agree. And you know, I thought Oda would have touched on this. The point of aging, right? The point of aging where a successor, because I feel like he kind of touched on it with Whitebeard. You know, as far as like Whitebeard was clearly preparing Ace to be the next up. He was molding Ace. And I thought Oda would have gone, he still could, I suppose. Yeah. Gone there saying where Big Mom, she's what, 68 now? But Big Mom, she's kind of sadistic. To the point where it's like Big Mom is transitioning, like, or preparing Katakuri to take over.
I don't see it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see.
You can think that if you want.
I don't see it at this point, but I felt like that it was like a cool time to do that, to show that with Big Mom, with her lineage, like she was preparing this for the long haul, where being a Yonko is going to stay within the family. You know what I mean? Like, even if I fall off, my son or my children are just as powerful to carry it on. I don't think that anymore because of what we're seeing with Big Mom. And if Katakuri was Yonko level, I don't think he would be in this situation with Luffy. For Luffy to have a chance at beating him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the Yonko are clearly special. Like, they're clearly like once in a generation type people.
Oh, yeah. They're
you know, like, they're not just... You're not just some regular person that just can become a Yonko. You have to be special to become a Yonko.
The best of the best. Like Shinjo said, he said, you guys from the West generation, you're all trash. Do you really think you can compete with those guys?
Exactly. So even the
he says the only one I see potential in is Blackbeard. And look what happened.
Exactly. Look at that generation. That generation of Luffy's, the Supernova generation. Blackbeard is an exception because he's been waiting for so long. Out of those 11 pirates, Luffy is the one.
Plus he's special because he managed to somehow get 2 fruits. You know.
Yes, he's literally special. Like as far as like his body, he's special. And Luffy, being the chosen one, like chosen by Shanks was special as well. It's like Kaido. We don't know what he is, but clearly he's special too. Big Mom. They said it from when she was a child. She's Fleet Admiral. She has Fleet Admiral potential.
Yep.
Like Ace. We know Ace as far as like most of that was based on his lineage. As far as like who his father was. I'm not sure if it's been proven that Ace is as special as the others. But Whitebeard, he felt that way. But I don't know if that's necessarily proven that Ace was like that special.
If you read the Ace novel, you might change your mind. He's pretty crazy in that.
I haven't read. I've read like excerpts.
Potential-wise, he's pretty insane.
You've read the whole thing already?
I've read. Not the whole thing hasn't been released yet, but there's like 3 parts of it.
Yeah, I've read the parts of it as far as like him meeting like his crewmate, him and his, like him, the Marines and stuff like that. I mean, he had
Have you read when he was at Saboti?
I believe so. Yes, as far as the Marine thing.
Yeah.
Yes. He has the quality of Luffy, right? It seems.
Oh, but it's even more so. Like he seems to like adapt on the fly.
I mean, he's smarter. The thing is, like with Luffy, fighting genius. Even with Ace, like Ace with the Blackbeard fight, he's like, okay, boom. Then he used the flame spears. It's like, okay, I have to attack this way. It's just that at that point, going up against someone like Blackbeard, that's a lot for someone to take on. Anyone. Yeah. That's a lot for anyone to deal with. So, you know what? I changed my mind. You're right. Ace is special. Ace was special. So it's like these guys, like Marco is strong. But I don't think Marco is special.
I don't think he's special, no.
I don't think he's special. I feel like Marco is, as far as like, literally the epitome of what a right hand should be. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be there no matter what. We saw him like from the beginning. But I don't feel like he's special. What about Zoro? Do you think Zoro's special?
Yeah, sword.
As far
Mihawk
as swordsman, right?
Mihawk sees it in him massive.
Right.
Like he's never stopped. He's never stopped
Right.
and got. I want you to challenge. It's only Zoro that he sees potential in.
Exactly. So the Straw Hats, they're full of special. Nami,
Oh yeah, gifted with weather and stuff like that. Yeah.
You know, as far as like these special people coming together, like where it's like, I mean, at this point, it's destiny. Like all these people coming together: Chopper, Frankie,
Yeah.
Robin, Brooke.
Yeah.
All these events. Like if we like went down and think of the events that had to happen for the Straw Hats to come together, it's crazy. Like it's literally crazy. What if Bellemere didn't die?
Bro. Yeah, Will of D.
Brooke and his crewmates, Frankie, Robin, and her like her whole history, bro. Like everything had to come together for the Straw Hats to be at the point they're at now. What if Kuina didn't die? You know what I mean? Where it's like all these things happen and now they are where they are. So it's like the Straw Hat crew as a whole, they're very special. But the Yonko, like those guys are the best of the best. We saw Whitebeard, like sick Whitebeard at Marineford. You know what I mean? It's like
this is the problem. Is this? I think it's the same with the admirals as well. Did you notice that they had a draft and there was no one in the previous Marines that could fill the role? They had to search elsewhere.
They said they had runner-ups like Momoshagi and Chaton.
But the thing is, the problem with that though is that they're like fan made, and Oda being a nice guy.
Throw him in there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it speaks volumes. I think. You would, because we look at the vice admirals, and none of them really. I feel like the world government, they know, right? They know what your potential is. I mean, you can see when someone is special. With Big Mom, they were like, this chick is fleet admiral potential. Like at 5, you know. And I feel like with the world government, you don't think they have unbelievable fruits just waiting for the next person?
Well, I don't think the government per se, but I think the Celestial Dragons do, which is what because we see that they casually just give their slaves like Boa and Gil Tesoro some of the craziest fruits in the verse.
Right, but I feel like if it benefits them, the Celestial Dragons are going to do it. Like, hey, we have this person, Admiral, they get this fruit, protection.
The problem is Aokiji Kizaru had their fruits in Vice Admiral. We don't know about Akainu, but
I'm saying, I feel like with those guys, you saw the potential in them. Like, so if you saw the potential at an early age, wouldn't you give them their fruit sooner so that
so you're talking about like, let's assume, obviously we don't know if it happened, so don't kill me.
Yeah.
But like, if Mother Caramel raised Aokiji, Akainu, Kizaru, and she did what she was going to do to Big Mom and give them to the Marines, as soon as she gave them in, they saw the potential and gave them the fruit.
I feel like first they had to probably evaluate them. You know what I mean? As far as the mental state of these kids, can these kids handle it? So maybe they go through Rokushiki training first, and see like, okay, we see the potential. Do they have the drive? And then we see like with most of these like One Piece kids, they've been through something. You know, like we even see a Blackbeard. We saw like the picture when he was younger. They've been through something, so they have that drive. More than likely involve pirates in some way, where they have the drive to, you know, destroy pirates.
Why don't they give those Vice Admiral giants from Elbaf fruits then?
When I think of the giants, yes, they have the potential to be very strong on the scale of Marines. We saw John Giant, right? What was he, a Vice Admiral?
Yeah, I think all of them, every single one of them is.
Right? But where's the X factor? I think about it like let's say in basketball. You have someone that's really tall and they're really strong, they're really big. You know that this guy just being that height and being that big, you're going to be strong. But, you know, but it's like, I don't know if you're going to be the best ever. You know what I mean? As far as like, I'm sure like, with some of these admirals, as soon as they got their fruit, they probably were like using it like in a way where it's like, oh God, already? You can do that already? You know what I mean? Where it's like, some people just have an affinity for things. We see it in real life too. Where some people, they just know how to fix things. So
Yeah.
they just know how to do it. And you have these special people in One Piece. At this point, Katakuri, the fact that Katakuri had to train his observation hockey to the point where he had to see into the future, does that mean he was lacking somewhere else?
I think there could be loads of possibilities. Perhaps he saw something like that happened to the family in the past. Like, let's say, for example, there was like a big mum incident, like a mother Kara. We don't know when the mother Kara incident happened, but it could. Oh, well, it was when Capone was there. But let's say it happened before Capone was there, because obviously we heard the info from Capone, not the family.
Yeah.
Let's assume something crazy like that happened in the past when Katakuri was young. He's like, I don't ever want to see my mum like that again.
Oh, maybe he got
You know?
double crossed.
I want to foresee.
He got double crossed.
I want to foresee. You know, if my family is in danger, I want to know it. I want to see it coming.
Is anything more interesting than seeing what Katakuri's mouth looks like?
What killer's face looks like?
Right, it's like the Kakashi thing. Like, it's like, oh god, what's behind the mask? But I feel like with Oda, this is why Oda is amazing. With something as small as Katakuri's mouth, there's a story behind it. Or you can create a story, a whole elaborate story behind it. Behind what happened to someone infiltrate.
Yeah.
You know? Was another Yonko to the point where it's like, they scarred him. They scarred, like, Katakuri. You know what I mean?
Look at Cracker's eye. We know
Cracker's eye.
Who managed to break the biscuit and get his eye? You know,
who did they run into?
Yeah,
because he said the Marines never seen like his true form. Someone else did.
Yep.
Someone else did. You know, so it's like with all this, Oda has a lot to build on. This is why I don't feel like the story. Maybe it's 67% at this point.
I don't think we should even put a percentage because he changes.
I agree 100% that Oda, how he writes, is gonna be all right. This makes sense. I'm gonna go this way.
Yep. The editors, like there is an editor that is really good. The one that like helped him introduce the supernovas and helped him out with a lot of other stuff in the past. That guy is really good.
Yeah.
But some of these other editors that announce things, they don't really seem to get it. They don't really seem to understand like the depth of the story.
Because Oda, like when we think about I think about how I write an essay. Right, I'm writing an essay. I have 4 paragraphs. I'm like, my goal is 6. I'm on the 5th, but I'm like, oh, snap. I have this. I can add on to this. So even though my goal was 6, I'm already at 6 paragraphs, and I'm not done with my idea yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like Oda and how he explained how Shanks came in at the end. As far as like, I just decided to have Shanks show up.
Yep.
You know, like Oda's at the end of the whole kick. He's like, I decided to have Blackbeard show up. I decided for a bus to call. I decided for the Big Mom Pirates to actually fall here. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like we try to predict theories based on what's happened. But I feel like the way to predict theories is I don't know if we can necessarily use what happened, because as Oda writes, it's like what's most likely to happen.
Yeah, that's how it always is.
Yeah.
You know, with him is like you have to go off of, you have to figure out how he thinks, which is really hard to do.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us can do it because we're not him.
Right.
You know,
right?
So the clues he's given us 880 chapters worth of how he thinks. So
it's like you just look at the story, try to look at it from his perspective, and say what would make sense as far as Oda. And I think you have to lean towards character development.
Yeah,
and
he loves it.
Exactly, he loves it, and integrating them into the story. What character would make sense to integrate the story? I think Weevil here.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like, for example, I brought up, Compote. I always used to come in the streams. Where is Compote?
Every time we see her, it's a Oda box.
Right? And this is the thing, is that I've been talking in your Discord, and then like everyone's like, "Oh, no one cares. She's not gonna. She's gonna be relevant for a different." Like, are you crazy? This is Oda, the character that the character man. He's not gonna introduce. He's not gonna introduce. And same with Bobbins. He's not gonna introduce these guys and throw them away. It doesn't. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think about every character in Dressrosa. Everyone had a purpose, down to Leo. Everyone had a purpose in Dressrosa, even though we felt like they were Senior Pink. I honestly thought like Senior Pink would be just one of those random background characters. He had a whole fight, elaborate manly fight. He had a backstory that was pretty touching.
He wasn't even planning. He wasn't even planning on including it. One of the editors asked, "What is this guy's backstory?"
Right.
And then the guy's like, "You need to add this."
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's that's the brilliance of like Oda and his team around him. It's just like we really don't know, but these characters that are introduced, like I feel like I want to know more about Gladius. I really like Gladius.
Yeah, Gladius is cool.
Mock Vice, like Mock what's his name? Lao G. I feel like Dillinger is also interesting because of what he is, yeah. What he is, what we presume him to be. Was Doflamingo raising an army to go against Kaido? You know what I mean? Like it's just all these things that we can probably like Oda. Like literally, if Oda ended One Piece in a year, he could create so many spin-offs. So many. Like he could create like a full movie around Haki, a full movie around Devil Fruits, a full movie around the backstory of the Shichibukai. So many places we can go there. So I agree there as far as like we shouldn't try to predict when One Piece is going to end, because I don't even think Oda knows.
No.
I feel like he has an idea of like, okay, I know what I want to do to end it.
He's always known what the ending is. He says it's never changed. But the thing is, he keeps, like you said about the Warlords, he keeps introducing these guys, and he loves them so much that they're getting added to his ending. The ending that he originally had. Now he has 20 more characters he has to have there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I plan on making a video about it as far as like the Warlords and like, because Oda said like their importance to the story, but think about like how the story would be without these guys.
It's like exactly. It's like he like I look at it as this. It's like he planned a party, right? And he invited loads of guests. He knows who's gonna turn up. He knows what music's gonna be playing, and how the night's gonna end. He knows it all. Right. But then suddenly, all these guys bring +1s. It's like. Now he has to accommodate for all these extra guests for his party.
Right now he's like, oh snap. Okay, he's like, I can work with that. We have extra food in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, we can make it work. So like again, this is part of the brilliance of Oda. I feel like we touched on the whole chapter. Is there anything we missed?
The tidal wave. We talked about that a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about the tidal wave as far as
the chapter before Pound. He became relevant again.
Yeah, we've been waiting for it, But Pound was literally trying to get out of there. He was literally like, yeah, I'm out of here. And then
see you later.
Yeah, he's like, I'll be back. The Pound literally, he was just trying to get out of there. So that's again, characters don't get thrown away, and he's probably gonna sacrifice himself for Chiffon in some way, especially after he's lost Lola. So that's definitely gonna play a part. But
I thought it was really interesting that Lola was the previous chocolate minister as well. That was really interesting.
Yeah, and what's his name? Pudding didn't want to take the position due to her respect for Lola. I mean, everything is just making sense. You know what I mean? Like,
this is what I mean. Like, do you remember when? I don't know if because you probably you speak to loads of people, right?
Yeah.
But I used to always say in your streams like, this Pudding and a lot of stuff it runs so deep.
Bro, I agree.
That, like,
yeah,
if we left this arc without it, I personally would be like disappointed.
Exactly, and we saw like it was glimpses. It wasn't that it wasn't that many moments, but we saw the moments that were so impactful on Pudding. And in the moments where we saw Pudding, where she's like literally conflicted because of like those flashbacks.
Yeah.
Where it's like he has to touch on it. And at some point, so like when Pudding was tricking the Straw Hats, she was, she whispered in their ear. I'm like, come on, guys, this has to double back. It has to come back around. Like, there's no way that Pudding she's an actress, yeah, all that. But at the end of the day, we saw like where her interest lies. She doesn't want to be on a whole cake. Like she Lola is like her hero. Like Lola doing that, and I wonder who else looks up to Lola, saying, "Yo."
I think Bobbins does, because like when the Invasion Army were talking about Lola, a lot of them seemed miffed or angry.
Yeah.
But Bobbins had like a very different expression. He was sweating and like waggling his arms,
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of these kids. How honest can they be? How honest can you be as far as like Big Mom is the mother that if you tell her how you really feel, you're probably going to get hit upside your head.
Yeah.
So you just keep it to yourself. You just endure it,
But
And,
this is the tragedy. This is the tragedy though as well. It's like people seem to forget. They assume, oh, she's a Yonko. She's supposed to be crazy smart. But we've seen the flashback. We've
mhm.
seen how her thought process is. Oh, you have gills. Let me try and rip those off so you can be normal. Oh, you have
Yeah.
an extra joint in your elbow. Let me try and fix that.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. She looks at things and she wants it to kind of apply to her view of beauty in a way. So it's like with Big Mom, she's
Yeah.
twisted. Like she's really
Like the
twisted.
way but the thing is, it was a. I personally think Streusen is to blame for a lot of it.
Of
But
course, he's a master manipulator.
Mother Caramel, for example, tried like the Big Mum's dream is based off of a misinterpretation, which is what's really sad. Is that Mother Caramel said, "One day I wish that people could see at eye level," meaning peace.
Right,
But
right.
Big Mum took it literally. She meant at my eye level, as in people as tall as me. So she's trying to get the giant serum.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like when you think of some kids and like how they're influenced by their parents and based on their childhood, that kind of warps them forever. That's literally Big Mom, and she's
Yeah,
grown up based on that way of thinking.
yeah,
And it's kind of altered. It's crazy how it's kind of altered the universe, the One Piece verse in a way where it's like
yeah.
based on Big Mom's goal and her dream, created like Totland, and her kids. Typically with kids, you endure your parents for a while, but eventually you leave the nest.
Mhm.
They don't leave,
Yeah.
and
Because
it's
if they
like
leave, you die.
you die. And I there has to be more than one kid that's at the point where I'm like, I want to leave this place. Has to be. There's no way.
I think Praline, kind of, because she's
Oh
kind of with
yes, she flipped really quickly. Like she was like, I'm right with my husband.
I think the whole marriage thing is really important to the children because that's their escape from her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like I feel like the husband really doesn't matter at times, where they're like, whatever, I'm down. Like, put me in the bucket. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
I'll get married. It is what it is. Because yeah, they become subordinates of Big Mom, but they get to be with their husband. It's like a different life. I mean, come on, like, there's no way like everybody's cool with that. Absolutely no way. But I guess that goes into the lore of Big Mom and why she's so amazing. And it's like
hmm
as a kid, like you really can't stand up to her, or you or you die. Even
yeah,
Katakuri, like the strongest supposed like son, he can't stand up to his mom, or she would
no,
kill him. That's scary. That's a
yeah.
scary thought.
I mean, like people like us. I mean, it is disappointing to see the way Smoothie reacts, but you have to. But what people forget is the context. These guys have grown up. However, let's say, for example, Smoothie's 30 years old. She's lived 30 years under this crazy woman that can do crazy things.
Yeah,
She's seen she can murder people on a whim. She's seen that she can drain, one of her brothers and sisters' lifespans easy. You know,
yeah, yeah.
and they're terrified. And it doesn't matter how strong they are. If Katakuri was scared, he will die. It's as simple as that. One shot. Um,
I mean,
that's how terrifying she is to them.
that's what goes back to Katakuri and like the fact that he can actually see what can happen. It's like, can that prepare you for being scared? Like, for instance, say you see that someone is going to break into your house and shoot you, right?
Yeah, you'd be frightened if it was a surprise, but it's not a surprise anymore.
It's not a surprise anymore. So you can kind of brace yourself. It's kind of like, okay, I'm still a bit, okay. Yeah, you're still a bit
I think that's what happened when he saw her freaking out. Because did you notice how Smoothie was still like trying to compose herself? Like, where's Streusen? Where's this and that?
yeah,
But I would assume he had already foreseen that whole entire conversation, so he already knows.
he had the time.
And
He had the time to relax. Okay.
yeah,
It's like that's the advantage of what he does. So it's like 1v1. It's kind of
because
overwhelming.
even his older brother freaked out. His older brother did brave up to her and lied to her face.
Yeah, but
But
he
he
was
still
sweating.
was terrified.
He was sweating. And it's like his whole cake has been great, man. I know a lot of people they kind of They shit
Well,
on
this is the
it.
thing. It's like you have to. This is what I mean. The reread is so valuable. Just
Yeah.
looking at the family, and how they interact. I was saying this back when Montdors first stuck them in the books, and how
Yeah.
you could see Bobbins like kind of walking around, and how he was showing Galette, and it was, and the younger children when she was having lunch. Like just the family. I was loving it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, you can have a spin off of just this set of characters. I know some people would like, I would love it. Some people wouldn't like it. But
It would be
what was I going to
amazing.
say?
It would be great.
What's
Though.
it? What was I going to say? Yeah, it's like Mont d'Or. I was talking about this in the Discord. We see with him, okay,
Yeah.
his power we know is insane. He has the whole library under lock. That's his power. You know, he has all the things, the animals in there, the prisoners in there, and they don't age. And the books are as big as his imagination. You know, right?
Right.
And also, he can fly around, and when he flies around, he's pretty fast. He can also project the book's images onto you and make you trip out. Pretty crazy power.
Yeah.
But there's something else that was happening recently, which is when they set up the tar ships at the coast for the Sunny.
Yeah.
He was on the phone drawing like a map out, saying this is where the tar ships are going to be, and he was on the Dendemushi talking to Amande, saying, you know, line up here and this and that, right? But then in a different chapter, Terraspera rings him up, and he says, "Yo, Montdor, move the ships to such and such, or do this and that, right?" And Montdor gets another panel of him drawing in his book, implying that him doing that does what Perospero asked.
Oh wow! So his ships the ships were created by him.
Well, it would be too. If that was the case, it would be extremely hacked. I've tried to nerf it. I've tried to nerf it because, like, if it, you know, that's too crazy. So what I've said to myself is, like, all of the people on those ships have a book of his, and when he draws in it, they can also see the plan. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
But there's no visual evidence. From what we get is Perospero said move the ships. He drew in a book and they moved.
Yeah.
It's like, huh?
What's stopping him from, like, because the things he created in his book came to life.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like a world or anything. They just came to life, but then it would make sense if it can. Okay, so this goes back to the Big Mom thing. If it's not actual seawater, it would make sense if Montdor can actually move his ships on that water because it's not genuinely seawater.
Mm. Well, even if it was real water, he could, because like Luffy, when he's in the water, he's still rubber.
He's still rubber. Yeah, he's still fine. It doesn't, unless you're submerged.
No, even when he's submerged at Arlong Park, he was completely submerged, and Nami's sister stretched his neck out to help him breathe.
I mean, that's true. So it probably weakens it. It doesn't absolutely nerf it completely.
Yeah, it's the rules kind of bend around a little bit.
It does, especially what Big Mom did this past chapter, man. It's
but yeah, I saw it coming. Because I was saying, what me and Varospace said to each other was, because he came to me with the idea originally. He said to me, "Do you reckon she could turn water into homie?" And I said, "Yes, because based off the rules, there's nothing that says she can't." And I said, "Wouldn't it be even crazier if she could turn sea stone? Like, you know, for example, if she walked up to." If she walked up to Doflamingo Sea Stone Factory, could she turn that into a homie? There is nothing in this series that says she can't.
That's crazy.
Because law can cut through sea stone in ships. You know, there's loads of weird. The bird cage didn't get dismantled by the sea stone factory. You know, so her sprinkling a soul onto it shouldn't get dismantled.
It's hard to figure out a nerf for Big Mom because like it was one random.
What is that? She has loads of nerfs. She has Brook, Nami, Jinbei, Luffy, the Mother Caramel picture. She has the most nerfs in the series.
And then she still overcame all of that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell people, that she's crazy. Like the same with Magellan. Magellan got nerfed, but then he overcame it. That's why it's impressive. People like Magellan's trash. He can't tank a hit. Listen, like it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, all this is going to come back. I mean, the world government is going to put somebody that can't tank a hit as the head
Yeah.
killer of Impel Down. But
That's another thing I wanted to bring up about you talking about the government looking. This has been a perfect loop actually. About you saying the government know potential of people, right?
right,
Do you reckon Magellan has a good eye for potential?
definitely. After seeing all those pirates from time to time, yeah.
Yeah, because when he met Luffy, and obviously they know about Luffy, he's a 300 million bounty pirate. He's just invaded Impel Down. Like, he fought him himself. He saw what Luffy was capable of. He's not afraid to jet bazooka me in the stomach when I'm a poison man, right?
Right.
Yet he still decided to only put him in level 5.
Exactly. So he he figured like, okay, this kid is strong, but come on. he's not he's not there yet. All right. Like he would be dead. he should be dead. You know,
and that's the thing. Like, and when Blackbeard showed up, he was like, "Move out my way! I've got things to do." It's the same with Shiryu. He said, because he was dealing with Luffy, Shiryu said, I heard Blackbeard arrived. Do you want me to help you out?" And Magellan was like, "I don't really want to, but I kind of have to because Blackbeard's here."
Yeah.
Shiryu showed up, and Blackbeard goes, "Oh, that guy looks tough. Is he Magellan?" And Shiryu says back, "Oh, only 5 of you, eh?" Like they would have got the same treatment that Magellan gave them.
I think Shiryu is definitely stronger than the others. I think Blackbeard is the only one that could have, done something. But maybe even at that point, Shiryu was giving Blackbeard a really crazy fight.
I don't think so, because you saw how Magellan just because he was off guard and one-shot him. If Blackbeard was off guard, Shiryu was gonna. I think.
Oh no, right definitely. No, that's the thing where it's more difficult with swordsmen because they can literally one-shot you. And Blackbeard, he always takes the first hit.
I know. I guess so.
He always takes the first hit. So yeah, you're right. Shiryu could, at that point, is kind of walking through Blackbeard. I mean,
because that's how it was. That's how it was showcased. Like it's the same. It's like it was almost an identical kind of scenario where they're both walking up to him. Blackbeard's crew are walking up, all cocky, and they both give off the vibe that don't mess with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I mean, Shiryu is the only one that could really compete with Magellan. And think about Magellan's fruit. How do you compete with that? You know, it's and he was able to. That's why the Shiryu of the Rain thing has so much significance because it's going to play a huge part in Wano. I think when we kind of, find out some of the mysteries as far as people that have that,
epithet.
The epithet at the end. What was it? Like Vista,
Foxfire Kinemon, all that stuff.
Yeah, so
I know what you mean.
It's significant. It's definitely significant. So
I feel like also I've dubbed these kind of characters. I've been saying it in Discord recently. I call them reread heroes because these arcs, and you realize that these characters that you might have slept on the first time are actually crazy.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Shiryu. For example, Vista. For example, Crocodile and Moria. When you reread,
100%.
Yeah, when you reread it, you're like, wow, I slept on these guys.
Because of the knowledge you have now, you look back and it's I admit I really okay. So in the anime community, it's easy to get lulled in,
right?
By the shit people say. And it's easy to just adopt that and just say it too. Like the Crocodile thing. Oh, Crocodile lost to pre-time skip Luffy.
Uh-huh.
And you look back at it and you're like, that's the easy thing to say. But when you look at the story, Crocodile is a lot more impressive than people give him credit for. And Luffy should have lost multiple times.
Which he did.
Yeah, he lost multiple times. And then he goes back to Crocodile and how impressive he was at Marineford. I think where I get frustrated because we have some people that really love Crocodile, and they put Crocodile at a crazy level. But even I have to acknowledge that Crocodile has a lot of potential, and based on the things he did, he's a pretty dangerous man. Very
if you
dangerous.
Give him Haki, which I think is the reason why he still hasn't given him Haki, is because if you do give him Haki, he becomes more broken than a lot of people. because just simply if like he can't defeat Loki as he is, right? But if he had haki, he really could, because all it takes, like, he doesn't. People assume that whole draining thing, he has to touch you. He doesn't have to touch you. He has a move called Crescent Cutlass, where if the sand touches you, you get drained. If he has haki on that, what are you gonna do?
And that has crazy range. Like Crocodile has an unbelievable range. Like, the range is crazy. Very versatile. People talk about the water thing. You've seen that water is playing a huge factor in Whole Cake. So it's like a lot of people with water, it's a huge nerf. So
well, this is another reason why, like, when we were reading the T-Pan, I was saying like Katakuri is underwhelming.
Yeah,
it's because, like, I look at individuals like Crocodile and Moria who, are most likely weaker than him, and I know Luffy is stronger now, but even back then, because they were above Luffy, like how Katakuri supposedly is, right?
Yeah.
They gave him a loss. They defeated him. Crocodile defeated him multiple times, in fact. I like seeing that, where Luffy comes back from a defeat. But ever since the time skip, he never gets beaten. He just wins. I don't like seeing that.
Yeah, it seems like they don't want him to lose again, per se. Because I guess that's, if he loses again, then that diminishes the time skip. I don't think so.
Like, he technically got beaten. He technically got beaten by the Enraged Army and at the Teapipe, but it wasn't by one individual.
It's always a gang, it's like a gang up type thing. It's like a group fight. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I feel like Oda has to kind of protect Luffy. Like that's your golden goose. Like, and then it's like,
but he didn't do it before.
The thing is, it's more significance now because of the time skip, and Luffy has made several vows, based on everything that's happened. It's like, can you really go back on that? I mean, he's gone back on a lot of things, but
losing doesn't go back on your word if you tried your best.
I mean, that's true. That's true, but it's,
it just means that these guys are above just going, oh, I have an idea, I'm going to be Pirate King.
I mean,
like Cracker said, there are people in this world that no matter how much you try, you just cannot overcome. That's what Cracker said to him. That's the lesson he was trying to teach. That I know I'm stronger than you. Well, from what we were seeing at that time, right? And my mom, who I know is my captain, is way stronger than you. So no matter how much you try, you're not going to beat her. Why are you here?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I hope there's something there that Katakuri is genuinely interested in. Like, he has a question, and it's like, this is kind of off the deep end, but Katakuri, like, I mean, the thing is, he would have, Brule being there kind of defeats his purpose and him waking him up. But then all of a sudden he's like, hey, how's your dad? how's Dragon? His Luffy's like, what? Like, because the thing is, like, Katakuri,
it would be a crazy plot twist. Yeah,
it would be a crazy plot twist, but with the Big Mom Pirates, we assume that they don't really leave, so this can't be like a Corazon thing where it's like he left for a while, came back. Katakuri leave for a while, comes back, and all of a sudden he's a revolutionary. Unless that gets real, then it's like, that's just,
Well, news spreads. He would know that he's Dragon's son.
Yeah. You think so?
Well, yeah, Big Mom knew. She's like, oh, it's Garb's grandson,
Right. No, I'm talking about, like, I mean, that's true.
Everyone was watching Marineford.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's and Big Mom, her network has been, praised. So
like, it was in the newspapers, I'm pretty sure. Like, it was in the newspapers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. You're absolutely right about that. But wait, Theory, I saw something on Twitter saying that you're coming back. Is that factual? Do I mention Twitter here? Do I mention your YouTube channel?
I kind of got annoyed because, like, the video I was making, because I was getting really frustrated with your Discord yet again.
Yeah.
Where I was trying to explain Big Mom's powers to people and the potential about, like, this whole water thing, this ether thing, like I discussed with Aerospace, right?
Yeah.
And I was making a video on it. and all of the things like the homies, why they can't be hurt by haki, and everything about it. But then the chapter came out and it showcased that she can put the stuff into water and stuff, this and that. And I was kind of like, well, that kind of negates my purpose. Not entirely, but it negates one whole bit that I spent a lot of time on.
Proves a lot more.
But I guess I could just make it as an analysis now rather than a theory.
Yeah. I mean, you can still make it. Definitely still make it. I mean,
but yeah, I'm coming back. I plan on explaining, like Katakuri, why him being a paramecia is okay because people don't seem to accept it. Why how I think his future vision works. Why the egg fruit is crazy. Why what's it? Why how the bounty system works? Like why Saba's bounty is so low. And what's it? The why. I called it a word. What's it? Why Whole Cake Island is the worst arc? It's like BWEORST, which is like best and worst.
Yeah. I mean, okay, son. Like when I was watching your hockey theory the other day.
Yeah.
The 40
okay. Thank you.
Very detailed. Amazing stuff. It's a really amazing watch. Like all of your theories, well planned out. The intro is a bit cringe, but hey, man, we love.
I know it's cringe. I hate it, dude.
I'm like, yo, it's like theory two. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, definitely.
I hate it. It's like awfully edited and everything.
But I feel like that's what makes it awesome, though.
But
it's so bad it's good.
But at least it was homemade, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's something you made by your own hands. Man, you know? So yeah, people subscribe to Theory too. If Theory doesn't show up soon, go follow him on Twitter.
I might not show up until Garp comes back in the manga.
Exactly. A great follow on Twitter. Expect to be bombarded with information on Twitter. It happens. But it's always a good time. Theory, I appreciate you joining me on this video, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. I want to try to like do these every week, but you know, I don't want to promise anything. But definitely, you know, join. I know you said you're busier now, but definitely join the streams when you can.
I don't. Another thing as well. I don't want to give a bad vibe. Like I don't hate your Discord. I don't like it. It's nothing to do with you either. I like your Discord. That's why I go there.
Yeah.
But there are just some people, man, that just oof.
No, the Discord. It has some. It's scary.
But yeah, I appreciate talking to you, Brago. You bring some sense back into the world. It's great.
Now this is always great. I always need time to kind of like detox from all the crazy stuff I hear all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like putting this out there. That's why I say like, yo, you gotta come back, even if it's, you know. Listen, I feel like people shouldn't have any expectation. You shouldn't have any expectation of yourself. Just make the videos you want to make that you feel like needs to be explained, and people are going to I guess be attracted to it due to like how factual it is, and like it's a lot of bad stuff out there right now. A lot of bad stuff.
I've not even looked, to be honest, mate. I've been completely out of it.
I don't watch as many anymore because one, I feel like I've adopted how you go about things where I don't want to kind of alter my view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I don't want to.
I think it's the best way to go. Really,
I agree, because then you start just reiterating, regurgitating the things that you hear other reviewers say, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's a good point. But then I'm like, maybe if I had read again, I'd have thought of that instead of me.
Exactly. This is the reread heroes, man.
Right. So it's like before I read the chapter, boom, get into discussion. Now I'm like, I do the live reaction. I read a chapter like 3 or 4 times before actually doing the discussion. So it's not just, all right, it's just off impulse. You know what I mean? So this is dope. I
appreciate it, man.
I'm waiting for that first video, bro.
I'll try and get it out this week. No promises.
All right. I mean, listen, I don't want to. Here's the thing. Definitely don't come back because of pressure from your subs, pressure from people on Twitter.
I don't see any. No one even bothers me anymore.
They're like,
yeah, when I comment on your channel, people are like, "Oh, there he is! Oh, there he is!"
They just see the God picture and they're just like, "Oh, you're a legend out here, man. You're a legend." You know what I mean?
Like, it's like where's Waldo? But
pretty much, they're just like, "All right, man. It is what it is." Like, you released the video on your channel, was it last year? I'm sorry for
I think it's that's the last actual real video I made was like, it's been like 2 years, so I've been on a real like One Piece time skip now.
Right, but even the video you released, that wasn't even a theory. It got a lot of it got a lot of views for like.
I should just post one a year.
You know what I mean? Normally people don't care about videos like that. It's like, all right, update whatever. You've been gone for so long. People like clicked on it, had like a lot of like traffic.
It shocks me. Like it shocks me how loyal the people that have subbed to me are. I appreciate it. It's just.
Well, you know why, right?
It's just
It's like,
well, I can assume why.
Good content. Good content.
Yeah, I guess so.
If something is good, it's like you can't help it. It's like, it is what it is. It's like, if it's good, it's like, regardless of how I feel, regardless of how upset I am that, you take crazy hiatuses, shit is good.
It's just like, for example, when I'm in the VC in your Discord, I think people get a very different impression, because I get people that have been on my channel and they meet me, like you're talking to them.
Yeah.
But I'm very harsh tongued.
Yeah.
I'm no nonsense, and you need to know what you're on about.
They hear the British lingo and they're like, wait, what? Where's this guy on about?
Wait.
This is not what I expected. This is not what I expected at all. I mean, at the end of the day, we're human, you know what I mean? But guys, check Theory out on Twitter, on his YouTube channel. Amazing stuff. Extremely perceptive. It's always a pleasure, bro.
Thank you.